I just found out that the woman who voiced Yzma in the Disney film The Emperor's New Groove was once blacklisted by President Lyndon B. Johnson in the 1960s. And it wasn't until she found out that the United States government had been spying on her for nearly 2 decades that she was able to make a full career comeback. Eartha Kitt was at the height of her fame when she was invited to a luncheon at the White House in 1968. But unfortunately, when Eartha Kitt made comments about the Vietnam War to Lady Bird Johnson, the career she had worked so hard for was about to be taken from her. You see, Eartha Kitt at that point was best known for her role as Catwoman in the 1967 TV series Batman. Outside of her role as Catwoman, you may know her version of Santa Baby, which is still listened to every holiday season. And for the younger generation, you may know her best as Madame Zeroni in the Disney movie Holes. Having been born on a plantation in 1927 into extreme poverty, it was really important for Eartha to use her star power for activism, which eventually led her to get involved with Rebels with a Cause, where she ended up speaking in Washington, D.C. about the delinquency bill that President Lyndon B. Johnson had passed, which ultimately led her and 50 other women to be invited to the Women Doers Luncheon at the White House hosted by Lyndon B. Johnson's wife, Lady Bird Johnson. Eartha Kitt and the other women were asked to give their comments at the end of the luncheon, and Eartha Kitt decided to be honest with Lady B. Johnson and the other women in the room by saying, "Boys I know across the country feel it doesn't pay to be the good guy. They figure with the record they don't have to go off to Vietnam. You send the best of this country to get shot and maimed. They rebel in the street. They will take pot and they will get high. They don't want to go to school because they're going to be snatched from their mothers to be shot in Vietnam." She then continued by saying, "Ms. Johnson, you are a mother too, although you have had daughters and not sons. I am a mother and I know the feeling of having a baby come out of my guts. I have a baby and then you send him off to war. No wonder the kids rebel and take pot." And Miss Johnson, in case you don't understand the lingo, that's marijuana. Now, Eartha said after she made these comments, the rest of the room got very quiet and a woman put her hand on her leg and said, "Thank you, Eartha, for what you said." I guess a lot of the other women in the room wanted to say what Eartha had said, but unfortunately their husbands worked for President Lyndon B. Johnson. And unfortunately for Eartha, all hell broke loose after this. Lady Bird Johnson had allegedly broken into tears after this, which she had denied. And other women ended up running up to the microphone to express their anger at Eartha and defend Lady Bird Johnson. Eartha, who was given transportation to the White House, ended up not getting any transportation to leave the White House and ended up having to call her own cab. And the media ended up labeling Eartha Kitt as a mad black woman who made the First Lady cry. And because of this, Eartha was blacklisted by the entertainment industry and had to go to Europe to continue to work. In the 1970s, Eartha Kitt ended up receiving a dossier that ended up saying that 2 hours after she left the White House, President Lyndon B. Johnson ended up calling every major television network and saying that he did not want Eartha Kitt to appear on their television stations. She also ended up finding out that the United States government had been collecting data on her since 1956. Eartha was victim to illegal break-ins, wiretaps, and mail inspections, which were conducted by an agency in the United States. Fortunately for Eartha, after news broke of this, she ended up making a full career comeback in the late 1970s and was even invited back to the White House by Jimmy Carter. Eartha went on record to say that she was not mad, but she was disappointed that the taxpayers' money was wasted on this. And Eartha ended up living until 2008 when she passed away from colon cancer.